It has been a hot minute since the last serious character focus run. Excluding the Christmas special, all there really has been is Steve, so today I think I can rectify that and tackle another Daedric artifact, as today we can see if you can beat Skyrim as Sheogorath. Who exactly is Sheogorath? For one, well, you must be new to the Elder Scrolls. Welcome to the series. Be sure to go down the rabbit hole of massive lore videos and then join the threads arguing between Morrowind and Skyrim as to see which one is better. And for two, Sheogorath is the Daedric Prince of Madness, who even started in his own DLC as a central character from the best DLC from the best Elder Scrolls game. As role-playing as the Mad God, I have a couple of rules for this, somehow. For the challenge run, I am only allowed to use the Wabbajack as my only weapon. The Wabbajack is a very special weapon, more on that here later. And to fit the character, I have to wear Sheogorath's outfit for the entire run outside of the dream sections. And no helmets, but I am allowing myself to wear whatever gauntlets and shoes I would like. Some defense is better than none, and to look a little bit fashionable on the side. And no companions for the run as usual, and I do allow myself to use some moderate glitches only if it were to be comedic. No restoration glitch, horse silting, or any of that nonsense. And for the bonus objectives today, while I can't just be a Wabbajack run and really rush the main story, where's the fun in that? Instead, today I indulge in the Path of Madness and I have to complete all the quests of the Saints and Sailors creation content, which is actually added to the special edition free of charge. This would end up biting me in the bum, but that won't be for a bit. I mean, the creation content is basically shivering Irel's fan service in more ways than one, so I think with this all the way, let's indulge in a little bit of madness. So starting with the creation process, I try my best to create the best Sheogorath face. Emphasis on the try since I'm not very character creator literate. I just get the correct race being Breton and the eyes, and I do my best with the rest. I'm impressed the guards are able to capture a mortal aspect of Sheogorath. I get bailed out by a dragon, get binded through the streets, and skip past Alduin encounters because I'm just that fast. And I take the fastest route out of Helgen. Once I get my hands unbound in the quest Unbound, I unbind my attire and the model was unfound. Since I don't have my trademark weapon, I just hoof it right out of the dungeon. Once I am outside and getting some fresh air, I hesitate on which standing stone I want to choose. In the grand scheme of things really made no difference because I won't be getting many levels in general. Just using a staff and no armor. In Riverwood I stop by the trader and I do a glitch I just learned about when routing something else. If you hover over an item, click your inventory and hold it over the vendor's name and press sell, you can sell the vendor's inventory right back to them. I think the Mad God would be able to convince people to sell their inventory right back to themselves. Trust me, I will need all the money in the world for this run. And as a note, I won't be using this glitch in later runs, I just wanted to show it off. This is an educational channel after all, with a little bit of a side of a murder. From here I do my usual early game stuff in raiding vendor chests. I am going to need a lot of soul gems for the run, and I mean a lot. Since I won't be using Soul Trap, vendor soul gems are going to be my only source of charges for the Wabbajack. After getting my locations, I enter Solitude, sit on a rock with popcorn in my hand. They have a public showing today. After walking through the streets, I meet up with my servant Dervinin, learn I am on holiday, and enter the Blue Palace. I fumble around, get access to the Pelagius Wing, and I enter a dream realm. While in this dream realm, I am stripped of my clothing and put in a different set of attire. Here Sheogorath meets Sheogorath so Sheogorath can convince Sheogorath to go back to New Sheo. Follow along? Good. While waiting around, I fling the cheese around with glee. During the self-indulgence, I get the weapon of the run, the Wabbajack, and I can solve some puzzles. The first puzzle, I shoot the guys in the back until they turn into wolves and maul the competition. Second round, I shoot the sleeping Pelagius, then I get night terrors. I nearly die because my NA aim gets the better of me, and I take a blast right to the face by a dragon priest. Last trial, I punch Pelagius until he is big and the foe is small. Oh yeah, NA aim strikes once again. After this madness is done, I talk to myself once again until I go back to my proper reality, reclothed with my proper weapon in hand. With the setup done, time to get the story back on the road before I get distracted for a long while. I approach Bleak Falls Barrow, and the first poor sod I blasted so hard he turned into a fountain of gold. So the fun thing about the Wabbajack is that it has the ability to do a variety of things, from instant killing enemies to turning them into a sweet roll to turning them into an agent of oblivion. I love randomness. Inside the burrow, I had a lovely time trying to blast the bandit who normally dies, kept healing him, or turning him into a rabbit. That I can't damage because Wabbajack only. As for the Frostbite Spider, it is a boss enemy so it can't transform, just take damage, which consistency works wonder for the run. As for Arvel, I punch him down and he transforms into a chicken, and when the transformation wore off, he is back to the usual bound state. Which is weird. I put him out of his misery soon enough. As for the rest of the burrow, nothing in note. I end up skipping past a lot of the encounters to save on enchantment charges. As for the Overlord, I kept turning him into a KFC until eventually he gets short-circuited. I enter Whiterun for the first time after the burrow was done, go to the potion shop and buy a lot of potions, and I'm going to need a lot of them going through the run for the first part. No armor and all that. Once I was done, I went outside and turned Azim into a rabbit, and his likability went up 1,000-fold. Inside the hold, I get some enchantments on my gloves and boots, and head out to fight a dragon. For the first dragon fight, it was easy enough. A lot of guards, a lot of backup, consistent damage from the Wabbajack, melted its health pool pretty quickly. After the dragon fight was done, instead of warping back to Dragon's Reach to proceed with the main story, I instead begin a very long detour for bonus objectives. To the west of the Watchtower, there is a wannabe Saints camp. This is where I come to regret my bonus objectives. These enemies are level 18 plus, meant for level 18 players, and here I am tackling this at level 1. I get bested a lot. Basically, I pray I get good RNG and I get an insta-kill and not healing them. And I end up going through a lot of my healing supplies and soul gems. In fact, I died right out of a quick save before I could act. Took quite a few attempts, but eventually I was able to get the leader by herself, pick her off, and I can finish the first part of this quest of many. After that nonsense was done, I took time to restock on supplies since I used a lot of potions in that encounter. Next stop is just outside Karthwasten. This fight was interesting as I took quite a bit of damage here, but thankfully I was able to give the bandit leader a heart attack, taking them out instantly. The rest of the Saints were unsaintly and kept going after me. The citizens of the small settlement wanted nothing to do with it, and it took quite a bit of fighting before they all went down. After that madness was done and noticed I was taking a lot of damage, I took the time to hit up the Lordstone. Along the way I saw a bandit take part in the Skyrim space program. Also I showed the vigilantes of Stendarr what happens when they talk smack to a Daedic prince's mortal aspect. It is nice to be able to take out enemies in one hit and not get one shot in return. I returned to Dragon's Reach and learned that I am a Dragonborn. Funny, that sounds more like a Parite sort of thing. After I took a ride to Windhelm to take out the Seducers bandit camp, also seems it is wolf season as I met a lot of wolves heading on to the next camp. The Seducers weren't that bad, well besides getting one shot. I started the fight by gaining the high ground, then leading them down a ways to pick them all off one at a time. Seems that the enemies gained a higher semblance of intelligence as there was no path for me, they took cover. Intelligence? In my Skyrim? Obviously this is a mod. Well, I played it smart and picked off the bandits one at a time until RNG came my way. All that was left was the bandit leader, seems he was really, and I mean really, into cooking. Even teleporting to the cooking pot. Don't worry, he quickly became gold for more soul gems. And there was an Eltria nymph that I can have a pet, but I just left it be. So to wrap up this segment, I walked down the road a small way and took on the next bandit camp. This fight wasn't much to write home about. Played out the same as the other fights. Blast at the leader until he has a heart attack, then I can claim my prize. More notes! Yay, the Creation Club's specialty. Well, with all the knowledge in hand, I can wrap up the storyline by going to Solitude and swimming through the sewers. Much like Riften, there are crazy people down there. Well, after a bit, it opens up to more Shivering Isles fan service in the root tunnels. The nymphs were not much to write home about, to be honest. Way less annoying tunnels versus the one in Shivering Isles. At the end of this dungeon is Thoron. So, this fight was annoying. Besides turning a lunatic into livestock a lot, there is a lot going on with this fight. At first, everything that I had not turned into sweets or gems came right after me, so I had to clean them up. As for Thoron, he kept blasting me with chain lightning and bringing up a ward that blocks my randomizer. After a bit, he starts teleporting around and starts summoning saints. Thankfully, I can wait back and heal. He would also heal a little bit and it became a long war of attrition, and I died quite a lot down here. Eventually, he stopped summoning guards and I had to press the attack. Then I had a stroke of insanity and I remembered I am Breton, so I popped my dragon skin and pressed the attack until he turned into a sweet roll. Also, I be sure not to get the ring and not save for work. I ate the sweet roll and teabag on the remains. Behind his corpse was a forbidden weapon. I grabbed it and stuffed it into a safety deposit box. This sword is going to need some extra delicate care as to not let any grey marching happen again. I am so done with these level 18 enemies. With the main storyline all done, I began the process of cleaning up the Creation Club quest. First stop is Half Moon Inn. I thought it was going to be a nice relaxing swim to the inn. First, I get harassed by more Saints cosplayers, and then they start attacking zombies. And to top it off, when I got some distance, a dragon attacked. My Skyrim is in shambles. Along the way, I run into the courier who was introduced to the undead. I grabbed my useless crafting recipe and got the hell out of there. Next stop in my cleanup tour is nearby the Atronach Stone. Since I was in the area, I could just hit up Ivarstead. It was supposed to be a nice jog over across the geyser field, but of course Skyrim has a Skyrim and a dragon tried to fight me. Dragons I can handle as they can only be hurt and not transform into chicken, but the dragon made things interesting today. Have you heard the expression when woolly mammoths fly? Yeah, after the fight I took down the giant and the mammoth with only 1 HP left, I claim my prize, head down to the quest site and kill Avethra to get the note and head up to Iverstead. Besides turning a predator into prey, nothing to note heading up to the High Rothgar. The frost troll I played a magic trick on and sneak on past. So, funny thing happened when I was talking to the Greybeards. Seems like I am being hunted, as when I went outside to do the speed training, I was met by a horde of saints and seducers. Instead of blasting the Wabbajack around, I just let the Greybeards fire on the crowd. And when reading the note, I learned that the wannabe Seducers want Sheogorath's head. Seems like the Isles are going to need a little grey marching when I get back from my frozen vacation. Oh yeah, when I tried to talk, another wave of bandits came out. Seems everybody wants a piece of my mad ass. I return to Whiterun, get some gold by finally finishing the Balance of Power, get some more soul gems, then head to Morthal. Usengrav is the same as ever, just with more explosions. I take on the first big group, then sprint through the rest of the place. Becoming ethereal is always a fun time, especially when messing around with gravity. I grabbed my IOU and left. When I got outside, I fought the necromancer and turned her thugs into crabs. When they all died, the bandits never put their armor back on. Once that was done, I return to Riverwood and get started on the next dragon fight. Selicanir gets bullied right back into the ground. The Wabbajack puts in a lot of work, and since I'm fighting something my own level, the dragon goes back to bed soon after. So for the Thalmor Embassy, since I'm not in a dream state anymore, well, you can argue that all of existence and Nirn is just a dream of the dreamer and all reality is just an illusion, but I don't want to bore you on an hour-long lore video, so when I never read the books in the games to begin with. Oh right, I can't put on the party clothes and do the quest from the start, so I'm going to be doing a little cheeky clip to complete the embassy another way. I grab a bucket on the side of the embassy and just walk right on through. I don't do this clip unless I have to, but the results are way more humorous this way. When I do the skip, you can skip half the main game. I just head to the chest and grab my note then bail. Well, it seems the embassy is in a state of Schrodinger's embassy, as the quest is in a state of existence and non-existence. So when I went down to the jail, I watched a very interesting conversation. So the prisoner in the jail wasn't spawned, so Rolandol was talking to nobody. I chalk it up to the mad god existing in the room. They just ignored my presence, it's like they knew I existed. When I tried to leave, Melbourne came in and was caught, but nobody was hostile, so I just walked right out the door. Melbourne followed me and the only one angry high elf attacked me. As for the wood elf, he ran to the display case, opened it and grabbed a knife to fight back, but Melbourne would end up dying in the fight. I'm just an innocent bystander in all of this. I quick travel out and departed to Riften. Before going into the Ratways, I do the next Sheogorath quest for a very powerful two-handed weapon that I cannot use. Along the way I meet a mad woman who wants to be Wabbajacked up, so I do that and turned her into a hare to be ate by the local wildlife, then entered Crystal Drift Cave. Inside the cave I donated a Madness and Amber ore to an altar and got the Nerve Shatter. After getting the weapon I met some more Seducers. I've had enough of these blokes. I just danced around and left the cave and they never followed me out. As for Riften, I entered the market. I was jump scared by Brynjolf and cultists. I'll let them duke it out in the streets. Inside the Ratways, I just sped past everyone, including the first two who meet you at the start, and went deeper into the second set of sewers I raided today. I blessed the chef, talked to Paranoia, then make our escape. I turned a wizard into a coin blizzard, then made our escape further through the place. I made a dumb error and turned two thugs at the start into crabs, then exited. The game does not like my transmutations. Twice the game crashed as I exited the sewers. I had to reload to right before I transformed the two, not transform them and bail. On my way out, I made sure to stop by Grelot's place and give her crabs. Before taking Esbern back to his guardian, I do what any responsible Uber driver would do and take him to the furthest reaches of the world to meet a friend of Passwell. Or was it Split? Either way, I get a set of keys for Aftan and made my way there. Along the way, I turned a frost wolf into a sweet roll and chased after it. Inside the iceberg, I just ran right through the place. I do try to see if I can get any free soul gems along the way since I'm starting to run low again. No luck, so I skipped an entire section by pretending I am a ghost. As for the Centurion, I have no idea what went on. All that I know is that I think it turned into a chicken and it vanished. Everyone was brawling and I think there was some cheese in there somewhere. After a moment, I just let everyone be and I entered Blackreach. I sprint on ahead, take in the sights, added one more to my sweet roll collection, solved a maddeningly disappointing puzzle that does not involve torturing poor adventurers, grabbed my toilet paper, and left the place. Once that dungeon was done, I finally returned Esbern to his proper home, and we departed to Skyhaven Temple. Before we left, I made a detour to Solitude. There was one final quest involving some generic NPC in Saint's armor, and I gave her an amber in the shape of myself. She vanished before I can take it back. At least I get some skooma money. With that all done, now I can finally do Skyhaven Temple. Before entering, we were met by a dragon who wanted some blade cakes, but it went down pretty quickly all things considered. As for the interior car spire, the enemies were as easy as ever, the puzzles are as easy as ever, and the bloodsteel is as thirsty as ever. I get the special upgrade to talk to the Greybeards before starting Alduin. Before I fight what is normally the hardest part of the run, rushing the story, I use my Mad Mind and restocking soul gems to see me through the rest of the run. With the prep work all done, I get lectured, learn how to clear the skies away by barbecuing myself, then climb to the summit of Skyrim. I had to sprint past everything because my inventory is limited at this point, and I wanted to preserve my scroll gems going forward. I make it to the summit, see the results of a dragon mushroom, learn what lies between a 2-poly sheet of toilet paper, then go to the bathroom for a 3.5-minute unskippable cutscene. Yeah, funny thing about Alduin, he can be the hardest part for most runs, but since I did creation content stuff today, he was just small fry. Funnily enough, the hardest part of the fight was the bloody rock that was making ducking behind the word wall annoying. I really wish I could go into detail in this fight, but besides the meteors being as annoying as ever and the Lord Stone plus fire and frost resistant enchantments, like the Batman researcher I am, Alduin was just a cakewalk today. Only took 2 minutes thankfully, and I'm hanging out in the skies a lot today. As for the Peace Council, tensions were running at an all-time high, so I thought I could lighten the mood by offering everyone some sweet rolls. I just never mentioned who they came from. As you can tell, I blitzed right through the game, and I really did after the creation content stuff. Well, I forget my magical teleporting portal at home, so I have to take a dragon taxi to Skuldolfin. Someone has to put the dragons down for a nap. As for Skuldolfin, the place was pretty annoying today, while I go to the first part of the dungeon. As for the pillar room, for some reason it did not want to work. Well, the undead were pelting me pretty hard with their attacks, and it might have disturbed lever pulling, so I had to clean out the room. I really did not want to fight the enemies here because all that I had left were 2 greater soul gems, and I still had 3 required fights left. Once the welcoming party was taken out, I finally fixed the room, and I pacifisted my way through the rest of the dungeon, just fisting a spider web. As for the Overlord, he is as much of a joke as he always is. I thought about fighting the Dragon Priest, but for some reason it decided to enter 2 states of being at the same time as it became a pile of gold coins and was still carrying on in its business. Well, I got shredded, so next attempt I just sprinted on in. So, funny thing about Sovngarde. Originally I was supposed to throw the sword at Jigleg off the cliff here, but I forgot to do that in the run, so I guess when I get back to the Isles we're grey marching again. Yay? Well, I bullied soon by superior range and dumb luck, so the Orf special. I get my raiding party, then march on the final boss before my holiday is complete. So for Alduin 2, I had no soul gems left, so I had to fire carefully, limited shots, so I would need to be sure to have one final shot to finish off the fight. Thankfully, this is the final fight and you are hard carried here. Since I needed to have one shot to finish the fight, I just lured a meteor to our local buff man so the fight can be completed that much faster. I just let the ghost bully the dragon and swoop in for one final glorious kill steal and claim all the credit for saving the world for myself, and prove that yes, you can beat Skyrim as Sheogorath. Well, that was quite a run. I love the randomness of the Wabbajack, but the soul gems did make using the Wabbajack a bit of a pain in the butt to use. I would love more Golden Saint sweet rolls, but oh well. Overall, the run's difficulty wasn't that bad. Mostly the ability to insta-kill mini-bosses made the Wabbajack useful when it worked. And the only challenging part of the run I would say would definitely be the Saints and Seducers part. But much like other Creation Club content, there isn't much level scaling going on, so it was obvious I was going to get bullied. Overall, I did have fun recording this run, just seeing what random nonsense the Mad God could get up to, and the game really adding to the madness. Probably going to be a small break before the next run. I have a massive run in the works, so look forward to that. If you like what you see, be sure to drop a like and smash that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subs and getting there. This has been Orpheolus, and see you all in the next one.